That ain't nothing. See, we've gone a little Ohio crazy, to be very honest. I mean, I was just talking to Bobby Kennedy. I was very happy that we had a white celebrity endorse the investigations. He's a good guy, a good lawyer, actually. And, but it's like, you know, there was Florida, 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 so we didn't watch Ohio. Now there's Ohio, 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 Ohio. Let me explain the nasty secret of American democracy. In the year 2004, 3,600,380 ballots were cast and not counted. Not in the United States of America, not Ukraine, not Uganda. 3.5 million votes. And you know, this isn't, I didn't get this from my black helicopter, okay? I used to teach statistics, and like I said, I worked, you know, with Milton Friedman, and I went into the raw data of the Election Information Agency in the U.S. Census. It's reported there, okay? I say investigation data didn't have to be wired. It's sitting there, as I want to tell the New York Times, it's waiting for you. You know? It's waiting for you. Okay. Where are these from? 3.5 million votes. What happened? They're in two big piles. One pile is something called spoiled ballots. It's one term used in the vote biz, spoiled. 1,389,231 spoiled ballots. Now, how do ballots spoil? I mean, leave them out of the fridge, no, hanging chads. They hung around from 2000. They kind of multiplied. Hanging chads, lots of them. Punch cards that don't punch, touch screens that just don't feel like you know how to touch them anymore. In other words, glitches and paper ballots that just crumpled, whatever. Glitches, machine glitches, just glitches, 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 okay? But whose glitches? See, not everyone's ballot glitches the same. That's where the statistics came in. Me and statisticians working with the U.S. Civil Rights Commission and at Ohio State, Cleveland State, we looked at the numbers. Golly gee, look at the electoral dumpster. Where are the votes glitched? If you look at the white precincts, let me show you this little chart here. If you can see, it's also in the book, it'll be easier. Little white lozenge. That's white precinct votes that get glitched, not counted. And this big, thick black line, that's African American voters' probability that their vote will be lost to a glitch. If you're black, the chance your vote will be lost is 900% higher than if you are white. If you're Hispanic, 500% higher than if you're a white voter. If you're a Native American, about 2,000% higher than if you're white. You know, but it's glitchy. Well, first of all, do high school algebra. Consider the proportion of the population. If you do the numbers, simple arithmetic, 88% of all the votes in the 3.5 million pile garbage can of votes are cast by voters of color. 88%, almost 9 out of 10. Now, I don't know who they voted for.
Take a guess.
And I'm not saying it's deliberate. Or maybe I am. But I was invited by Holly Jacobson and Voter Action. Your people here decided to do something very smart. They said, because not just investigate 2004, but I decided to investigate 2008. See, and what that means is, where are they going next? They are going west down there. See, Florida to Ohio, the new demographic, Hispanics, moving west. But what's fascinating to me, so Holly Jacobs and her crew invited me to New Mexico. I thought, what a great idea. What happened there? Because what was fascinating to me is that in New Mexico, George Bush won by 5,988 votes, just, you know? And who am I to disagree? But you don't, as long as you don't count the 34,000 ballots left uncounted, unopened, untouched. Now, but whose votes are these? You know, except that we noticed that there were precincts of Native Americans in the Pueblos. Okay, I went to Taos Precinct 13. That's known as the Taos Pueblo. And there are precincts in Native country all over the West where as few as 1 in 10 natives cast a ballot for president, chose a president. I don't mean that they blew off the race. I mean that they got in their pickup truck or their ponies or whatever they do, they showed up at the polls, they waited in line an hour, they went into the polling booth, and they didn't pick a president, they walked out. That's what the machines say. So I decided to go to Taos Precinct 13 and find out about this. This is massive, like Indian Indecision Day. All over the West. Wow. Like maybe a protest or some boycott. So I go in and at the Pueblo and meet with a guy who his title is War Chief. Okay, and I say, okay, Chief. Being a little tough. So you Indians can't make up your mind? You don't know who to pick for president? And the war chief said, listen, paleface, white boy, actually he's very polite, said, listen, we know who to pick for president, but we don't pick the machines. Then he added something. He said, we trusted them. They came in with the machines and we trusted them. Raises some questions about his knowledge of history. But, okay. See, we don't give them blankets with smallpox, and we just give them the old Shootronix machines. So the Republicans know this in advance? Okay. Ken Blackwell, the Secretary of State of Florida, not Florida, Ohio. Of New Florida, as they call it, wrote to the Republican head of the Senate there before the election. If we don't change the punch card machines, we're going to have a Florida-like calamity in the minority districts. It was not a warning, it was a boast. The ACLU saw what was happening and said, change the machines before the election. This was nearly a year before the election. And Blackwell said, sue me, which they did. And he went to the court and he said, as soon as the trial is over, yes, we are going to change those machines. We'll have the hearings. Mid-November 2004, 2 weeks after the election.